Hello again, everyone. It's me, Johnny. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. And today, I want to talk to you about, is it what you're eating or what's eating you? This stems from going through my journey. I had to go back and really think about a lot of the junk food that I was eating and why. And, what would compel me to get up at 11 o'clock at night, hop in my car, drive to the supermarket, to go get some ice cream, to come back, sit down in front of the TV set, let it thaw out a little bit, sit down in front of the TV set and just start eating away, and then can't fall asleep. And when you do, you're usually in the same place, on the couch or somewhere. Not the best place to fall asleep at, especially when you're eating so much sugar late at night that your body's trying to digest it. It's creating inflammation because you're eating ice cream, dairy products, and your body really doesn't know what to do with it, so you're never really going to get a good night's sleep. And then the next morning you wake up and you're tired, and it's like this endless cycle of just destroying yourself. And this is some of the stuff I was going through with eating so much processed food and so much junk food late at night that I had to sit down and analyze things down to, was I dealing with a food addiction? And that's what I always thought. Or was I really dealing with suppressed emotions? That's why this is titled, Is It What You're Eating or What's Eating You? And I had to confront those things. I had to confront what would trigger me, what would compel me to hop in my car and go. And sometimes I had the 2-for-1 sale, and you look at the flyer and you can't wait to get to the store, and eating nothing but junk got me nowhere. Overweight, couldn't sleep at night, and I had to deal with self. I had to confront myself. You deal with something like this. These was one of my favorites. I used to, run to the store for some of this stuff, and I can't even tell how much sugar is in here. 29 grams of sugar. How many servings? 3.5 servings. This little container. Do the math. You ever wonder why you just can't eat one? I don't know if it was their campaign, but why is it? One of the most addicting things that you can eat, sugar, okay? Acid in a bottle. What this stuff does to your insides and the inflammation. This is just some of the junk food. This is one of my used to be one of my go-to favorites. This and milk. Oh my goodness, what a combination. People would tell me, when I had to drink wheatgrass, and I still do drink wheatgrass, I would tell them, man, some people love it. I'm one of those that, sometimes you want to punch them in the face, honestly. Because for me, I had acquired a taste for it. And, they used to, we used to get into it, and they would tell me, man, wheatgrass is so good. I said, no, not for me. Oreo cookies and milk, for me, that was good. But wheatgrass, it just, you have to suck it down for me, and I still have to do that. But getting back to it is like, why is the question I had to do. What was driving me to do that? You ever wonder why they call it the Food and Drug Administration? Just like these are considered foods, empty calorie foods, or comfort foods. What are they comforting? What are you trying to suppress? See, when I started to analyze, the situations that I was in, I had to be brutally honest with self, because self was going into it. All right, in order for me to heal, I had to deal with the man in the mirror. And this is one of the hurdles, and I still deal with it today. What compelled me, what would drive me to commit a slow suicide on myself by eating all these foods that really, you eat them, then you feel guilty afterwards, yet they call them comfort foods. What are you comforting? What are they comforting? You got to sometimes take Tums afterwards because you're eating so much junk food and it's supposed to calm you? No, that lets you know that your ecosystem, because you have your own pH, okay, within your gut and all the gut flora and all the everything that goes on in your gut. It's out of whack now from eating so much. Mine was so much that I came up with intestinal non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That means my garbage disposal in my gut was backed up. That's the way I look at it in my head. That's the way I see it in my head dealing with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Means that the lymphatic system is one of the elimination systems of your body. And mine was backed up from eating so much junk food, from being under so much stress, and not feeling fulfilled in life, not being passionate about life, just going through the motions day by day. And one of the things, and the hardest thing I still have to deal with, is dealing with food and what I eat. As far as the junk food, a lot of it's out. A lot of it. Gave up a lot of it. I just make better choices, or I go home and make my own smoothies instead of having a Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Breyers or whatever kind of ice cream, whatever floats your boat. But for me, I had to learn this. It was a learning process. It didn't happen overnight. It was a process of letting go of certain things, cookies and candy and whatever have you. But the question for me was why? Why would I always go back to it? Why would I go and after you finish eating, you have that sweet tooth? Why is it? What is it that compels us? I could say that's an addiction or something like a learned behavior. Just like you built a neuron and a neural pathway that says, hey, this is going to make me feel good. See, because subconsciously, for me, I was dealing with emotions. I was dealing with toxic emotions. I was suppressing a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And now I had to go in there and rip it out. And when I started to identify with it, when I first got diagnosed, when I started drinking green juices and started doing intermittent fasting before it became like it's real popular, I was doing it for a long time because of my spiritual beliefs. I started to break it away, just break out of that sweet or that, the sweet flavors, the sugary flavors, stuff that coats your tongue. And I think your taste buds renew themselves about every 10 days or so. And the first 2 weeks are always hard. But once you start getting into it, once you start driving into it, and you start believing and pushing into self, not letting those toxic emotions rule your life, or not letting those toxic emotions or those memories that are suppressed, that have been sitting there, and you're, you would sit there, I would sit there and eat like the whole thing during a movie, then afterwards, you feel sad. How's that comforting? You're destroying yourself. And that's what I was doing little by little. And that's why I say for me, I look at it, dealing with cancer like a slow suicide. I didn't need anybody's help. I was doing it to myself. Because I wasn't dealing with self. I wasn't, on my A game. Had a beautiful smile in front of me, but there was emptiness on the inside. I had to deal with it. And one of the things that I really had to break was this junk food cravings that I had. And that came from me dealing with my own emotions. Just going in there and just dealing with them and confronting them and brutally honest with self. And the more and more I dealt with it, along with drinking the green juices, along with intermittent fasting and prayer, little by little, I started to pull away. It was like, in the beginning, it was, I just stopped cold turkey. Later on down the road, you had those desires to go back and get it, or you're at a party or something and you want to have some cake and ice cream and you can't. Moments like that, for me, whatever floats your boat, but that's how I had to handle it. Or I would have like a little piece of cake with no frosting or anything, like a little piece. And I would go through it, and that would be it. And then even going through it, you feel upset or you feel sad. But right now, what I'm learning about self is like I said, why do they call it the Food and Drug Administration? Because they consider this food. They consider it. You can't even read all the chemicals that are in this thing. So why would you put it into your body? That's the way I think now. It's like, I know when I take salads, I know what I put in my own salads. It's all natural, all organic, and I can suck those things down and have no problem. This stuff, I don't need. You need a language specialist just to figure out what's in here. But this one is cool because all it is fried in oil, I guess, or whatever they fried it, and put salt on it. And you can't eat just one because you're addicted to it now. You just keep on going, and it's kind of like you're going through like this numb thing, not even realizing, and then you're at the end of the bag. And you're like, what just happened here? Now you got to drink some soda, and soda has all the salt and sugar and everything else. Who knows what it is, what's in there. And it's an endless cycle that you go through over and over again. And for me to break this cycle, I had to deal with self. I had to honestly confront everything that I was doing, because subconsciously, it's really not the food. For me, it really wasn't the food. It was suppressed emotions, toxic emotions that I was dealing with. And for me, that was like, it still is one of the hardest battles I'm dealing with, is self. That's why people ask me, and I keep on telling them I'm still healing. And it's okay. It's okay. It's all right, And I've learned through the process, it's not going to happen overnight. That the body will heal if you give it what it wants. So that's what I believe. And the body, it's amazing. When the good book says you're fearfully and wonderfully made, it is no joke of how precious we are. Down to where your body has its own electrical plant. All right? Your body has its own pH system. It is amazing what this thing can do. Its own processor. And constantly through neuroplasticity, your brain is always changing all the neurons in it. And when you start eating foods like this, empty calories, you're never really full. You can go to one of these fast food restaurants and eat something, go home, and you're still hungry for something more, because it's not nourishing. It's not nourishing. You need to, learn to love self, learn to love you, and make better choices. Live whole foods, because you're a living being. Huge salads is what I eat now. Juices is what I drink now. In wheatgrass, yeah, I suck that down too. A bunch of other things that I do. Why? Because I love me, and I want to live a life. I want to live a whole life. I want to live life to the fullest. And I just wanted to share this stuff with you when you're dealing with these. Is it really what you're eating or what's eating you? What is driving you or compelling you to eat when you know it's damaging you? And deal with it, whether prayer, meditation. There's no, as long as you deal with it and you identify it and you jump on it, you want to be the best that you can be. Live the best version of you. Learn to love self. And there's that one saying that I always say, that most people, you hear from in motivational speaking, that most people die at 25, we don't bury them till 80. That was me. That was me. I was in that lane, but I thank God that I'm able to turn my life around and live alive. And live alive, live life to the fullest. God bless you guys. Take care.